So, what is the context of McDonald versus Chicago case? And by McDonald, do they mean the fast food restaurant?
Haha, very funny. No. McDonald refers to Otis McDonald, a Chicago resident who was the lead plaintiff on the case. In 2010, he brought attention to concerns of safety in his neighborhood and was denied by lower courts the right to own a handgun for self-defense in his home.
Before this case, in 2008, another similar case, the District of Columbia versus Heller, it was ruled that individuals have the right to possess firearms for lawful purposes. However, the ruling was in a federal district, so it only applied in Washington, D.C., where it had been ruled and didn't automatically apply to states or cities, as the Bill of Rights was generally understood to only apply to the federal government. 2 years later, Chicago has strict gun control laws, banning handguns, which was protested by many Chicago residents, including 76-year-old Otis McDonald, who wanted a handgun to protect himself in his home. He then challenged the city's handgun ban, arguing that it violated their Second Amendment rights.
So, what is the purpose of the case and what is the general concern?
The purpose of the case is to decide whether the Second Amendment right to bear arms applies to state and local government through the 14th Amendment. By applying the 14th Amendment right, specifically the Due Process Clause, which prohibits states from depriving any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, to the Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms would extend to state level, allowing individual state governments to decide their stance on gun bans.
What was the outcome of the case and how did the court rule?
The court ruled that the Second Amendment guaranteeing the right to keep and bear arms applied to federal governments as well as state and local governments through the 14th Amendment.
Oh, I heard about that too. From what I've heard, while the local governments dismissed the suits and the U.S. Court of Appeals affirmed the lower court's decision, the Supreme Court exercised their right to reverse the appellate court decision.
Yes, you're absolutely right. One of the justices, Samuel A. Alito Jr., argued that an individual's right to hold and bear arms is a necessary right for Americans' scheme of ordered liberty and system of justice. 2/3 of the court justices fully agreed, shared partly, or concurred with Alito's opinion.
Interesting. So, to sum up what you guys are saying, the outcome of the case was a major victory for Otis McDonald.
Yes.
What was the overall impact of this court decision on society?
Decision influenced how the Second Amendment is now interpreted. It confirmed that gun ownership is protected from state interference. So now, a state's ability to pass restrictive gun laws without violating constitutional rights is limited.
If the court had ruled against McDonald rather than in favor, individual states wouldn't be able to choose whether or not to ban guns. Rather, guns would be banned across the nation.
And due to the court ruling against McDonald, it would state that the 14th Amendment does not apply to the Second Amendment and guns would be banned.
I think the court ruled correctly in this case because regardless of whether or not guns should be banned, it is a matter of protecting the constitutional rights of the citizens, which was properly executed in this case.